I mentioned earlier that I thought these engine mounts went too smoothly and we'd probably end up redoing them. And today we're gonna end up redoing the passenger side mount. And here's why. We have to remake this mount because the engine's gonna go turbo right away, and this nice post that we made to connect the engine to the frame is exactly covering up the oil drain bung, I guess. So this has to get drilled and tapped, which means we have to make clearance for that, and we're gonna do that today. Now that the mount is completely off the engine, I've removed the bushing, we cleaned the area that we'll be welding up, and we are gonna toss it in the vise like this, and then this is the hole saw that we think is the right side, or the right size. So we're going to start drilling it, get the pilot hole in, and just make sure that this is about big enough to cut around this tube, and then we'll put our first brace in. So that's all gonna happen now. That should be just about perfect, actually.
Should be just about perfect. It'll be going right into the weld.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna be doing this later, but we're gonna weld the other side on now. It's hot. This, and we're gonna go more of this kind of shape and see how that goes. Right now, Nick is preheating our piece because my little Napa welder, even on full kill mode, is not enough to really weld it in. So we just tacked in the piece, and we're gonna heat this up and try and get some weld in that'll hold so we can cut the hole. Now that we're done welding in the first side brace, we're gonna go ahead and finish drilling this backside hole, and hopefully, if all goes as planned, this will all just come out, and then we'll cut the tube out, and then we can get the other side going. Here's our hole. We got a great deal on the hole. It only cost us about 1.5 hole saws and maybe a drill, because we kind of had smoke come out of the drill.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, the poor Ryobi. We used only the finest cutting fluids as well while making this hole. So here's where we're ending at for today. I know we were trying to do this in one day, but I decided that I wanted to run this to the welder at work and weld in all the inside seams of everything just with a MIG setup, so it's a little cleaner, and maybe clean up a little bit of welds. But the flux core welds that we did today are not awful, so they might be staying. Man. What did we lose? Here's what we've ended up with, is just fresh out of welding. I actually ran out of welding wire, so we ran over to Nick's house to use his welder. But we packed this in, and we have it boxed in on the top and bottom, and then we added a box in the back there. So now our turbo drain line can run right through here, and this is nice and stout. It's actually quite sturdy. So that's that. Now we're gonna clean it up. And here's our sort of finished engine mount. Cleaned up pretty nice with the angle grinder. A couple spots I might fill in with the welder just so they look a little more pretty. But really it boxed in pretty well. And it looks like we're gonna have to oblong this hole. We drilled this size hole just because it pretty much drilled out the weld from having the tube there. So we knew we may have to modify this a little bit yet. So it looks like we may have to come down here. And once we get that done, then we can kind of trim some of the fat off of this plate here and final prep paint, and we'll be ready to go. So with that, we'll end the video. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment below or subscribe or do whatever you want. I don't care. And we'll talk to you later.